Should we start? Yes? Well, they closed the door, so I guess we're starting. So, hi, my name is Dimitris. I'm engineering director at Red Hat. I run the Quarkus team, amongst other things. And the talk today is about our AI journey with AI and Quarkus, how we integrated the LangChain for J library, and hopefully to give you some ideas how you can pimp up your applications and make them a bit more intelligent, and show you how easy this is. Fun fact, Quarkus is about 5 years old, and it was released from a place not far from here, actually in Neuchâtel, Switzerland. We had a meeting with the JBoss team. Quarkus was a secret project, so we released it in March 2019. And another fun fact, 2 months after that, at Voxxed Days CERN, we unveiled the Quarkus logo for the first time. You can see here that Stefan ages well, all right? All right, so who knows this movie? Woohoo, yes. So this movie, for me, was the reason I got involved with computers, because there's this teenager, uses a modem, logs into a military facility, and he thinks he plays a simulation, but apparently he's about to start a nuclear war. And the computer is intelligent and all this stuff, and I don't know, back in the day, at least in my country, we used to call computers electronic brains. Anyway, it was fascinating for me, so I started with home computers, I studied, I worked for it for a long time to find this intelligence, but I discovered that, computers were not that intelligent. They were mostly boring, and you just have to tell them exactly what they have to do, and many of the times it wasn't working. So AI for this initial, let's say, period was things like, I don't know, Turing tests, and the Elisa chatbot. It was trying to pick up words in the discussion and pretend it's doing something intelligent. We had things like Prolog programming, Lips programming, but we had a few breakthroughs, like Deep Blue beating Kasparov, like a very strong computer with an army of engineers behind it. So that was big. But for the most part, when we talk about AI, it was more like science fiction. Yeah. But then things actually started getting interesting. So these last 10, 15 years with things like Watson beating Jeopardy. We have now self-driving taxis in the US. They have license to pick up people, alone. I'm sure you've seen Atlas jumping over obstacles, which is like really, really cool. But for me, the most interesting thing was the work that happened at Google with AlphaGo, beating the best player in the world back in 2016. And even more interesting, a year after, they created a version of AlphaGo, the AlphaZero Go, that starting from zero knowledge, it trained itself, and in 3 hours, in 3 days, it managed to beat AlphaGo, that beat the best player in the world. And they repeated the experiment with chess, and I found it amazing. In 4 hours, this program managed to beat every other chess program ever written at the time. So something was clearly changing, and I'm sure you noticed last year with things like, Midjourney, this picture won an arts competition with prompting and a bit of photoshopping. And now they're discussing, can we copyright this thing? Who made this thing? Is it the computer? Is it the creator that wrote the prompts? So computers with generative AI start getting into the human realm where they do creative stuff that we thought is only for humans. And of course, ChatGPT. ChatGPT kind of released the genie out of the bottle. So it brought this capability to, millions of people. Huge success. In 5 days, they had 1 million users. So that was never done before. So we clearly live in a different era. So this is a text-heavy slide. I thought for you that don't know about LLMs, how they work, I do it like in 2 minutes for you. So we have base models. To make a base model, you create a neural network as big as you can. Size matters here. So as big, and train it with a gazillion of data. So you feed it the internet. You need like tons of infrastructure to do that, costs like millions of dollars, literally working for weeks to produce something that is able to complete your sentence. So once about a time, it can complete this with a high probability. And you give it a paragraph, it can generate a book, and it can do it again and again and again. So that's great, but it's not like what we want most of the time. So there is this other phase, which is called the fine-tuning. And in this phase, we teach the thing to become what we want it to be. So if you want it to be a chat assistant that can have a conversation with you, you had to do this, let's say, human-intensive process where you feed it questions and answers, curated ones, many, hundreds, and then it learns to become a chat assistant. It can hold a conversation using the knowledge acquired in the first phase. And this is like a CI process. You can, rinse and repeat to optimize this, and you can add this extra phase where you make this helpful, honest, harmless, so it will refrain from answering, "Oh, I want to make a bomb. Can you, show me how?" Or, "I want to do something that's considered racial or whatnot." So this is part of this phase as well. Now, you can say this is data science stuff. I don't care. Do we have data scientists in the room? There's one in the back. So I think that's a pretty good representation, because the rest you are your developers. You don't care. But what about you developers? So the truth is that the model is just an API. You keep writing your applications in Java. You don't have to relearn or rewrite everything in Python. It's just an API that you call a specific point in your business application. And there are two particularities. One is it's a non-deterministic API. As you saw in the previous presentation like an hour ago, it can do things on its own. It can hallucinate. And the other thing, I just forgot. What was the other thing? It will come to me. The truth is, you can do a lot with generic models. There was this idea that, we get crazy and everyone will do retraining. But you don't have to, because you can just fit enough of extra information in the discussion, like your emails or docs, to make the model know about this stuff so it can reply intelligently. The only restriction really is how much stuff you can fit into this context, this window, because it's limited. So you have to get smart and do this, retrieval augmented generation. We'll talk about it more later. The other thing I forgot, of course, LLMs are stateless. They're done. Every discussion, it's a new discussion. If you want to emulate a discussion, you have to send them everything that preceded, which makes it difficult. So when you go to ChatGPT and you type, there is a middleware that keeps track of this discussion. So this makes it hard. And in Quarkus, we did, we've been looking at this for a year. We did experiments. This is an article in October. Sure, ChatGPT is an API. I'll call it. Sure, it's a REST API. But then it doesn't work. You can do a hello world, but it doesn't know about state. It cannot, do all this complex stuff. So, it didn't work until in Devoxx. Devoxx in October. I went to this presentation, and suddenly, the light went on. And LangChain for J. Were you at the other talk? It's basically a clean room implementation of the popular Python LangChain library in Java. So the similar concept, but it's all Java, no other dependencies. And you can think of LangChain as the hibernate of LLMs. It can abstract the different models behind the same API. It can abstract vector stores. It can handle all those things with memory and chains and all those hard concepts to make our lives really easy. So it's a great library. So immediately I go, that's how you do it. I had a colleague in the conference. I ran to him. I said, George, drop everything you do, start writing an extension now. And George had it after 3 years. He had a prototype We had Max, the co-lead. We organized a meeting with the LangChain team the other day. We showed them the stuff. They liked it. We went back. 6 weeks later, we had LangChain and Quarkus together. So it's one of the reasons it's great to go in these conferences because magic happens. So okay, LangChain is great, but why Quarkus? What Quarkus brings into this? Well, in Quarkus, we add extra stuff. So we add annotations to make LangChain look like CDI bins and stuff. So it's just, it's just like any other thing you do in Quarkus, it's like with LangChain. In Quarkus, you also have this developer mode where it fits really well this mode where, you have prompts, you have to fine-tune them. Try again. Quarkus will start in the background, it will restart, it will handle all this for you, and it makes it a really nice experience. We have the dev UI where we can show you extra information of what's going on behind the scenes. You can change configuration. I'll show you all of that. The other thing we do in Quarkus is we integrate deeply with LangChain, so we've introduced SPIs to replace key pieces of the library with things that are optimized that work really well in Quarkus. So all our REST layer, it's like Quarkus specific, JSON parsing, super optimized, so smaller footprint, and it offers you for free all the other stuff you get with Quarkus. So for example, metrics, tracing, auditing, those are micro-profile annotations. They work out of the box. You don't have to do a retry from 1 to 3. I've talked to the model. You just put a nice annotation, retry, failover, bulkheads, you name it. All of that works out of the box for you. So it brings a bit more enterprisey view into your application. And then, of course, with Quarkus, everything compiles to native, just a flag. And if it doesn't, it's a bug, and you tell us. So there are reasons to do that in Quarkus. So pray to the demo gods that I'll have a better chance with this. So I chose today to keep it really stupid to show you that it's not rocket science. Anyone can do it. So to start with this, I'll go to Code with Quarkus. So this is our initializer, let's say, API. I want to make an application. I'll make it a REST app so we can just test it, nothing fancy. And if I look for LangChain for J components, you'll find a series of extensions, and the list is growing now. We will match what LangChain offers, which is normally it's two things. It's either some model or API or some vector store. So here I'm going to choose, of course, ChatGPT. I'll generate an application, download it, and that's it. Let's unzip it. Okay, Code with Quarkus, code. So I'm using VS Code. And if I look at my POM, what do I get? So it's a REST application. Is it big enough? Yeah. And I have the LangChain OpenAI extension. That's it. So if I try to start a terminal here, all right. Quarkus Dev. So Quarkus Dev is this special mode that's unique to Quarkus that will start Quarkus in the background. And if all goes well, this will fail, actually. And it failed. I press W. I come here. So what happens, I included the OpenAI extension, but I'm missing a key. You cannot talk to OpenAI without the key. So yeah, let's add the key here. And the way you do it in Quarkus is normally you have this single file where you put all your configuration. So let's put it here. OpenAI API key. It's in my environment, so it'll pick it up from the environment. If you happen to see my key, try to forget it, okay? I'll change it after this demo, right? So if I go back, it works now, and it does nothing. Well, I can call, let's say, hello, and I get back this stock response with Quarkus, all right? Now, let's look a bit into the dev UI. So, again, this is quite nice to see what's inside my application. So I have my LangChain extension here, and since it has the key and everything, I can go right there and say, talk to ChatGPT. Hello from Voxxed CERN. Yeah, and it replied. So it's all configured for me. I didn't have to do anything. And I can even go and, we played with this a bit. I should be able to generate an image, right? So a Java developer lost in CERN. Now for that, I'm using ChatGPT 3.5, so it's let's say it's the dumb one. So I shouldn't get something fancy. Well, you get something that looks like a graphic. But anyway, independent of what you use, you can go there and just play with it, see if it works. So if we go back to our code and see, so I have this resource that returns this stock whatever reply, and to start coding something more interesting, I'll add an interface. So in Quarkus, we model that using the REST client mode. So you'll see how that works. I can just go there and say, this will be an AI service, so I want you, Quarkus, to implement that for me using LangChain and whatever model it's configured. And then you can go and say, all right, make this method for me using a prompt. So that's all I need. So this is where you can start talking to the model. And of course, I can go back in this thing here and say, all right, give me a grid area service. And I can replace that now with, grid. And that's all I need. So okay. I need to save. So I've saved. And if I go back to my endpoint here, now Quarkus used LangChain to talk to ChatGPT, and this is the replies from ChatGPT. So basically, all you need is just, do those AI services and do your prompting. Now, to make this more interesting, you can add like a system annotation that will introduce a role. So ChatGPT, I want you to behave in some particular way. Let's make a multi-line comment. Yeah, latest Java. So let's say, okay, you are a professional greeter. Greet people as if you are. Do you know Troy Hawk? Hawk from the Greeters Guild. This is actually a real person that does a show with those greetings. Let's say limit your answer to whatever, 30 words. Okay. Yeah.
User should be UR. Otherwise it's going to be very confused.
Yeah. Oh, okay. See, when you're in conferences, I'll try again. So now it takes more time, obviously, but woohoo! Greetings, fellow traveler. Welcome to Quarkus, where innovation discovery waits. I'm Troy Hawk, your trusted guide through this captivating destination. So it becomes more creative, right? And I just added like a system message. Now, if you want to play more with this, let's say we want to make Quarkus like configure up like a template. So you can do just this name. So that's a template now, and I have string name. So this will be replaced, but I obviously need to do something here. So that's Dimitris. And if I call again, it should know my name. Yeah, hello Dimitris. Okay. Now, let's try something more. Make a second prompt here. Not here, actually. Yeah. Let's add another prompt. String, who am I? Message. What is my name? And to test that, I'll just go in my resource here and I'll do it like very quick and dirty. I'll do a path. Path. Who am I? Let's just replace this. All right. So I've added an extra method. So let's again, hello. Yep. Now, if I say, who am I? It doesn't know me. It doesn't know me because every call is a new discussion with the model, all right? And that's the default Quarkus behavior. If we want to make those like part of the same conversation, we have to tell Quarkus to batch them together. So we will say, okay, in this service, the different calls belong to the same application scope. All right? So if I go back and say, hello, wait, no, that was in the cache, hello. And now, who am I? Look, it knows me, it just didn't say the name. Actually, you know, yeah, I can do it. I mean, every time will be different. So if I say hello again, and all right, who am I? Who am I? Yes, woohoo! It knows me. Cool. All right. So yeah. So by default in Quarkus, we implement an in-memory like circle storage of 10 items. You can override that. You can put a memory that saves to disk or some other persistent storage. But you get the idea. You have to realize, you know, is this a new discussion? Is this a linked discussion? But we all make it part of, you know, the standard Java model. Let's try something different. Let's do another method. What time is it? Time. And to access it, again, the same trick here. Time, time, and time. Now, okay, what time is it? So, will it work? What do you think? It doesn't know time. It doesn't have the notion of current time. And it says, you know, no, sorry, figure it out yourself. So, to figure it out ourselves, you can use this very powerful notion of tools or functions. So, a tool is, you know, it's just a callback. In this discussion, you can provide callbacks to the model, and the model, if it decides it's interested, it can say, oh, call this callback for me and give me the result. So you can actually introduce a new class, Java, and that's an ordinary class where we can say, okay, string get current time turn local date time now to string. So just normal class. I'm ignoring the format on purpose because I want to make a point here. And this is a tool, right? So that's a LangChain annotation. And if I go back to my service, I can say, all right, in this service, you can make use of the tools in this greater tools class. I'm going to stop the server and restart it because I want to lose memory. And this will start again. All right. Let's see, what time is it? It knows the time. So magic, huh? How did this happen? Okay, let's go back to our code. Actually, what we can do here in the dev UI, let's go and LangChain. Let's play a bit with the add some logging. So I want logging. True. So what happened there is now I have logging enabled, right? Those two lines. Oh, go away. And then if I go back to here and I call again, yeah, it knows the time, right? And if we see the logs, that's the interesting bit here. So what happened? We send a request to ChatGPT. Okay, we have this prompt. What time is it? Temperature, so on. We're talking to the ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo model, blah, blah, blah. But we also have this function, and it gets this parameter, so it's like a bit of metadata. And then the model thinks about it and says, I don't know the time is it, but I have this function, and it looks interesting. I didn't provide any other annotation. I could add more, metadata in a comment and everything, but I didn't on purpose. I just call it get current time. So it assumed that, okay, this probably gives me the time. And look, it's even suggests, what's the format? That was the method, the argument I used in that method. So that looks pretty, pretty good. Oh, that's the format it wants. I chose to ignore it on purpose and return something, really absurd. So this method will return something like this. So the second time, behind the scenes, Quarkus will repeat the conversation. It will send back the value of the function, all the previous conversation, and then, of course, now the model can reply and say, yep, that's it, stop, we're done. So I find this completely fascinating. You can have any method that takes, let's say, simple arguments, annotated with a tool, and it's part of the discussion. The damn thing will just figure out what to call when, in what order, without what arguments, which is just, it blows up your brain. So the thing is really smart. Okay. So I have time. Have a bit of time, so let's stop this, and I'll do another one, Olama. So same thing I show you. I hope I can do it locally. Olama serve. Serve. This is a 4-year-old laptop, all right? It's slow. But I should be able to show you something something working there. Quarkus dev, yeah. It should start, and then if I just say hello. All right, now it will take its time, Where is it? Yeah. Stuff will start happening here. It would load the Llama 2 model. which a bit strains this laptop. But what I want to show you here in this case, I hope it will reply, is in the equivalent, let's say, method, like we have the greet message here, but I added a fallback annotation. So this is not Quarkus, this is microprofile, right? So I'm saying, if this somehow fails, fall back and call this one. Okay? It actually replied, it's good, different answer, a bit of different format, so you have to be prepared that, every model behaves differently. But if I go back in my code and say, okay, this took, how much time it took? Oh, okay, let's show you here. I can have Q metrics. So this is microprofile metrics and everything, and I've enabled it just to show you that, I can greet. Yeah, greeter service. It took 30 to 33 seconds to answer. So you can display that on Prometheus. You can make traces, whatever you want. This all works out of the box. So it took 33 seconds. If I go back and say, all right, if I don't get back a reply in 6 seconds, then, not here, here. Then my fallback should take over. So 4, 5, 6, yeah, that's it. So this works out of the box. And then, okay, let's have a bit of time. Yeah, I have time. Okay, so let's do another final example. This one, I'll take it ready so that I don't have to live code. Yeah, the chatbot. So here, it's a more complex example. So let's say Quarkus dev. So in this one, we want to show how we do retrieval augmented generation. Oh, let's stop that thing here. Yeah. Docker PS. I have Docker also running. So what we do here is we will ingest this CVS file. It's the top 100 IMDb movies with some extra metadata, and we ingest that in a local vector store, which should be mentioned in our POM XML. Yeah. So yeah, Redis, right? So we're using Redis. So Quarkus, because it just sees this in the POM, it will go and start in the background a Redis without any other configuration. It configured Redis for me so I can have my tests working. So it ingests the data and everything, and then, what is the API? Yeah, if I go here, I'm getting this, chatbot that knows about those movies. So I can go there and say, oh, hello, okay. Can you propose a horror movie for tonight? Before sending the prompt, it will query the Redis database it will do a proximity search. So probably it will look for things that are horror movies, and we'll send that along. And I got the reply, okay, you could see the signing, yeah, 9080, and it's one directed by Stanley Kubrick. So this fact was not included in the CSV files, but it was trained. The model was probably trained on it, because if I go there and look at the info, where is it? The info. Yep. Data here. Yeah. That's all it knew about the movie. It doesn't know who was the director. So it combined the facts that I sent with facts it knew to give me back the answer. All right. So RAG is the more complicated example. We hope by working with the team, we will make this easier for you. So what are the top 3 movies? Briefly. And you should see stuff going on in the console. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Okay. Well, that wasn't very brief, but again, you have to make it behave, right? All right. So I think enough of demo. Okay, it's a brand new world, obviously, full of opportunities. What you can do with this now, I don't know. You can get some ideas here, but I'm sure just, it's super easy to just talk to LLMs, to talk to different LLMs. You just change the extension in Quarkus. That's all you need to do. You may have to tune a bit your prompts and everything. Everything but resource retrieval augmented generation is super easy. This one, I think we will make it easier as you go. And whatever you do, I feel this is a superpower handed, given to us developers. So, use it for good, basically. And I think I'm done. We even have 5 minutes. From the booth, they told me you can give away a hoodie. It's medium size. And maybe I should ask a question. So, who remembers the place where Quarkus was released to the world?
Neuchâtel.
All right.
No, it's fine.
No? Anyone else? Basically, it's medium, so you want this? All right, I give it to Liz. All right. So that's it. We can have a few questions, actually. We have 5 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, about the time. Basically, he looked at the method name, the name of the attributes, but if instead of format it was color, if instead of time it was something else, he will never have guessed it. So that's when you add description and so on.
The hint here was the name of the method, obviously, get current time. But you can be very specific. You can annotate the method and say, this method does blah, blah, blah. You can annotate the arguments, provide more information. But I just want to show you without any of that stuff, it figured it out. In one example, I was even returning a local datetime object, and it worked with that. So I'm impressed. Any other question? All right, go and do stuff.
No, sorry, another one.
Oh, shit.
Because you use the application scope,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of, on Twitter, there was a lot of people talking about the conversation scope.
Yeah.
And it looked like it's a bit difficult to use the conversation scope. I don't know if you have technical details on that.
If you want to have control on every method in your API, you can add memory ID. And there you have full control over which scope this discussion refers to, right? You can have full control over that. But we want to make the simple case, super simple. So we hide it, but you can have it. Yes, Stefan?
So do you also summarize the message conversations? Are there techniques that you are making it more compact? Or?
Not by default, not. Huh?
Okay.
No, I don't think we do that. We just pass whatever comes over the wire.
So there's some opportunity there.
Obviously, I think it's super exciting. You can let us know I want this feature, and you can add it. We work very close with the LangChain team. We're good friends, so yes, Liz.
My question, what's in the pipeline?
What's in the pipeline? No, I won't answer that now. For me, like the one thing I'll be asking is simplify RAG. It's a pain to do. And for most cases, I think we know what we want. We have mails, we have files with some sort of tagging. This should be like no-brainer. We don't have to make it so hard. I think that's the thing. And then more models, more vectors, obviously more of that. Smaller models, maybe, so people can play better on their laptops. I'm changing laptop next week, so... Yeah, that was like for my boss. Oh, it's slow on my machine, so I need the faster one. Yeah.
But probably also follow the Python project to make that more.
there's a lot of innovation coming from this side, there's no doubt. But now we can work, we are enabling, this huge Java crowd that before they had very few options, so it's super exciting, I think. All right, thank you very much. That's it.